got 12, and he's playing more cards to help filter through his deck. He's got the full set of Upstart Goblins, whereas Akridge
is playing his large wad of 18 trap cards match just moments ago. Interestingly enough, both duelists are both playing 2 copies of Max C, which we can expect to probably see sided out for games 2 and 3, but this is going to come down to Accelerant versus Trap lineup.
And could very much matter who goes first in this one. Akridge is at a major advantage if he wins the die roll here, because he's got all the traps to set up with.
McDuffie with triple Mystical Space Typhoon and 1 Wiretap main decks versus Akridge with 2 main deck Mystical Space Typhoon and no Wiretaps mained.
We've seen Wiretap make such a big difference in so many of these matches today that I would be shocked if we don't see that 1 copy of Wiretap think big by the time this match is over.
Yeah. Also of note, Deon Akridge not playing Soul Charge, Korey McDuffie playing 1 copy. Korey McDuffie playing a Pot of Dichotomy as well, which Deon Akridge is not running.
He's really big on drawing cards. 3 Pot of Duality, 1 Pot of Dichotomy, 3 Upstart Goblin.
So more of filtering versus trap-based redundancy. Both good approaches.
I guess Max C is kind of card drawing.
That
counts.
It's
more of a deterrent. It's more of a deterrent than anything else.
Management of that card in Game 1 may actually become a deciding factor, as it is subpar in this matchup.
It'd be nice to use it against the Dionaya. It's like we got an 8 to significantly less than that. Doesn't even match one of the 4s McDuffie came up with, and he gets the first turn. Alright, now I see an Upstart Goblin in there. Plays it right away. And Akridge is up to 9,000. And he picks up what appears to be Solemn Warning. Nice card to have.
Solemn Warning, Moraltalk, Compulsory, Trap he just set that we can't identify, Trap Tricks Dionia, and Call.
Keeps the call in hand.
No aggression.
Whereas on the other side, Myrmeleo's up first.
Yeah.
And Solemn Warning puts a quick stop to that.
McDuffie knows he has to keep Akridge off the field right now because he's not going to be fielding much offense for a while.
Unless he wants to just start swinging away with that Dionaya, but that does not seem to be his MO from
Seems
the way we saw
unlikely,
him play
yeah.
earlier. Pot of Duality reveals Upstart Goblin, Torrential Tribute, and Pot of Duality.
No help there.
I mean, you could take the Upstart, get 1 card deeper, and put Akridge on 10,000.
Take the Torrential and just
take
try
the Torrential
to
and keep him off
wait
the board.
out the next monster, yeah, and just see another turn. Take the Pot of Duality and just try again next turn, sure.
That's the tricky part with it, though, is that you have to try again next turn, since you can only activate 1 Pot of Duality each turn. Of course, he's probably thinking, well, I got rid of 1 monster. There's no way this guy's drawing another. And it turns out he doesn't need to, because he has Artifact Sanctum face down to special summon Artifact Moraltalk from the deck.
He'll just go search for 1 if he doesn't have it.
That's 1 of 2. In effect, Akridge plays 11 normal summonable monsters that are of use in a particular, or that are of use for offense.
Moraltalk forces out Bottomless Trap Hole.
And we've seen 1 of them, which is 1 of the 3.
And a Fire Hand.
Fire Hand's another one. Not bad. Definitely feels pretty good that he got the Bottomless Trap Hole out of the way right now.
Yeah. Fire Hand's going to go a long way to keeping the field under control. If McDuffie eventually does find a monster.
Well, he's got a Mystical Space Typhoon.
Also not a monster. Really not what he's looking for here. Let's see what he can get off the Duality. Monster.
Ice Hand.
Soul Charge.
Soul Charge and
Myrmeleo.
Myrmeleo. Not bad at all. tricky thing is, he probably, well, the thing that's making him scratch his head right now is, hey, why couldn't I get this on my first pot of Duality?
Yeah.
That is not an easy choice, but he goes with Miraleo and normal summons it.
Does Akridge have a chain, a breakthrough?
Looks like no.
No.
And Trap Trick's Trap Hole Nightmare.
Duffy's definitely still in it then.
Is the choice. Now, in terms of main deck answers to that Fire Hand, there's not a whole lot.
1-for-1 trade after getting a free card is a pretty good answer.
Yep. 1,600 attack points.
About as good as you could
Sometimes
hope
a liability, and sometimes it.
Sometimes an asset.
Yep. For some reason, I always think that she's got 1,700. I guess it's the halfway point between Fire Hand
and McDuffie's going to recycle that Murmelio. Another free back row shot.
Pretty good to have.
Yep.
And this time, she's going to be chained down.
It's slightly better than just losing the card, I guess.
Yep, still an Xyz material.
Yeah.
Though, it wouldn't be that bad if she wound up in the graveyard, since he does have that other Trap Tricks in his hand to bring her back. So I guess there's an issue over whether or not a target was even chosen with Murmelio.
I guess.
Akridge had just immediately flipped
Yeah,
the
treating it as a formality. Maybe not smart to go quite that fast in the finals of the Continental Championships.
It would matter, though, if McDuffie had a Mystical Space Typhoon.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure I saw one hiding somewhere. Instead, he's going to go with Compulsory Evacuation Device.
Even better.
That's a good one.
That's another search.
And it takes out...
Yep.
Trap Tricks, Trap Hole, Nightmare, while leaving Fiendish Chain on the field. He's got another Upstart Goblin now, but first he's going to re-normal summon the Murmelio. And that's going to get him a Trap Tricks, Trap Hole, Nightmare.
That was nice.
Akridge gains another 1,000 life points. And Upstart Goblin lets McDuffie dig one card deeper into his deck. And it looks like he picked up
Artifact
Sanctum.
Yeah.
Alright. With that set up, he makes a direct attack, and Akridge is down to 8,400. Duffy sets two more cards, and suddenly Akridge is thinking, hey, wait a minute, I'm the one who sets 5. Call of the Haunted in McDuffie's end phase brings back Murmelio.
There's that Mystical Space Typhoon.
But he did have a Mystical Space Typhoon.
Yep. Just chose to reuse the Murmelio for the search effect off the compulsory instead.
And I think that's the right
choice.
You gotta have something for those Call of the Haunted, really.
Yep.
We saw last round how vital it is to have that card when you're running Artifact Moral Attack. Akridge sets a monster face down, and McDuffie's back up. Go. Checks his own graveyard. And it looks like he's really considering summoning that other Trap Tricks. But the look on his face hidden by the face palm, is making me think that he does not want to use it until Myrmilio's in the grave. It can be awfully tempting to try to rush through, but you're really
tributing from Moraltalk.
And that's just to get Myrmilio in the graveyard.
Yeah. Just to get that Dionia lined up.
No,
Akridge
Akridge had drawn one of his max Cs and had to set it to defend himself.
Yep. Like
and
we said,
he has a look on his face like, I got away with one there.
Yep. Like we said, careful management of that card might make or break this game one, and that was not the way anyone wanted to play their maxi here. Again, that sends clear messages about Akridge's back row right now.
He sets another monster face down, and this time during the end phase, McDuffie activates his Sanctum.
That's got to feel extra good knowing that maxi is out of the way.
Yep. And even if he had another one, it's probably the monster face down.
Oh, that would be terrible.
That would be brutal.
That would be awful. Although if it is, we probably won't find out, because he's just going to Constellar Pleiades it anyways. Unless he really thinks it's the second maxi, in which case he'll just attack it to find out.
That is not a risk I would take in game one of the finals of the World Championship qualifier.
I mean, maybe the Ixie summon would be the real risk, though. Like, knowing that those two back row cards aren't anything. I mean, they could be Blackhorn of Heaven. They could be Trapped Extrapol Nightmare. We know they're not attack stops. We know that much.
What he might do, if he's okay with risking Torrential Tribute, is make that Dionaea play right now. But I would absolutely not do that right now. I think I'd test the waters.
That would be the right way to go. Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, I have the Dionaea.
And he's playing the Dionaea. He's going for it. McDuffie smells blood in the water.
I'm going to call him No Fear McDuffie.
Oh! Unless he's got a counter, that was not...
Should have had a little more fear, because...
That one needle ceiling, and they are gone.
Yeah.
Brutal.
His friends are not going to let him hear the last of that one.
And Akridge has another call.
Akridge, let's call the Haunted again.
More free destruction.
And blast the Blackhorn of Heaven.
Oh, that was a beating.
Things have not gone well.
Akridge playing it disciplined. He knows he just needs to chip away at McDuffie because he's already down to 4,400. And he'll go down to 28.
The good thing if you are McDuffie, though, is that there are no face-down cards on Akridge's Spell and Trap card zones, which I cannot remember the last time it happened.
Yeah. Sure had it when it counted. Akridge cool as a cucumber, too. Man. Oh.
The challenge for McDuffie is staying level-headed.
Yeah.
After that.
Because that had to hurt. When something like that happens, it's your fault. Yep. Like, there's no excuse for it.
And he has drawn his second copy of Dionaea. He's probably going to use that to take out Dionaea into Dionaea.
Yeah.
So he's
recycling the bottomless ever so briefly.
Got it. And he's taking Silent Honor Arc. Very helpful to have, as it will let him absorb the opposing Myrmilio and attack with impunity into what he's hoping is a Fire Hand. And it is.
Nice. McDuffie still making the right decision.
Level-headed, able to come back after making the not-so-correct decision last time around.
That'd be an admirable recovery if he can manage this.
Akridge sets another card, though, and it's time for that Bottomless Trap Hole to go away.
Yep. Get that Bottomless out of there.
Are we missing something? Is that an activated effect of Dionaea? No. Of your next turn, okay. So the trap hole goes at the end of McDuffie's next turn. Which would be this turn. It's always confusing when you get those next of the whatevers, but you do it in the end phase, so the next end phase. And you have to be very, very careful when you
store the trap card at the end of your opponent's controller's opponent's next phase.
Yeah, like we haven't seen it today, but the Bisphere is another one. You want to activate it in your opponent's main phase because it self-destructs in the next opponent's
certainly like a super well-recognized card at this point. But yeah, no, when the card first came out, people were a little dumbstruck.
There was a slight error, though. McDuffie had put Akridge's Myrmidon into his own graveyard and has since forked it over.
Good, good, good.
Set monster joined McDuffie's side of the field.
McDuffie has that dark hole in hand.
Changes Silent Honor Arc to defense position, and now the bottomless trap hole is banished. Just to turn off. Akridge is up, and that back row is coming back again.
Yep.
Ice Hand joins the fray and takes down Silent Honor Arc. And McDuffie is back up. He flips his own Ice Hand face up. And thinks, what's the worst that could happen? And when he thinks about what the worst that could happen is, he remembers that needle sealing. And slows his roll a bit. It looked like he was just about ready to start crashing hands into each other. Instead, he attacks the face-down monster, which was another Fire Hand. Fire Hand will take out Ice Hand. That will summon a second Ice Hand. Tricky thing there is it's a then.
Yeah, that did not go very well for him.
But he's got Pot of Duality. And he can't special summon this turn, but he takes Soul Charge anyways.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's going to do him a whole lot of good when he's got 2,800 life points and there are two Ice Hands with 14 each.
2,800 ATK combined on the table, so he's got to pop that dark hole, and that's got to hurt.
Yep, there goes the rest of his face-down cards. A pair of Cuptrick's Trap Hole Nightmares. And the question is, are there any Fire Hands left?
Follow up.
There are not any Fire Hands left.
No offense from Akridge, but again, rebuilding
card,
that back row and gives McDuffie a shot at that Soul Charge.
He looks like he just picked up a Trap Tricks Myrmidon.
Looked like Myrmidon, yeah.
And I believe he will find that there are many hands in Akridge's graveyard. Along with Call of the Haunted, one, because the other's still on the field. Needle Sealing, Trap Hole Nightmare, Artifact Sanctum. Now he's definitely thinking about the Needle Sealing. Because it was the Sealing and not the Torrential Tribute,
yeah,
that's still in there somewhere. He might not have known that Needle Sealing was in Akridge's deck.
He knows Torrential Tribute,
but he knows Torrential Tribute is.
And he just does not want to throw away 2,000 life points into a Torrential Tribute right now.
The safe play would be summon the Trap Tricks, take a swing.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have to play aggressively right now. Akridge is not putting any pressure on him. And trying to close things out too early is what got McDuffie into this situation in the first place.
Plenty of mutual graveyard checking going on.
Yeah.
This is his third trip to Akridge's graveyard.
It's a lot of trips to Graveyard Town.
He's got to be careful.
If it's not 3, it's at least several.
If he gets a penalty for slow play here, that'll probably put him even further off the mark.
Yeah, it would at least mentally throw him off.
Trap Tricks.
Nothing to search. Nothing to search for. Okay. Rough. Both of these decks just straining at the seams. Everything coming apart with just hands gone. Searchable trap hole, normal trap cards gone.
But he gets in for 1,600 damage.
It's becoming just a...
And no new cards join Akridge's
Yeah,
side
nothing
of the field.
from Akridge.
And it seems that McDuffie has drawn an Ice Hand, which is a particularly safe summon.
Yeah.
At this point. He brings it out.
Just becoming a
and just swings for the
resource exhausted push fight.
3,000 damage between the two. And this game's almost tied up, 3,800 to 2,800.
That makes things a lot more manageable for McDuffie.
Akridge flips his own Dark Hole, but that is going to cost him his other face-down card.
Yep.
He loses Artifact Moraltalk, which during his own turn isn't coming back.
Does not help. And McDuffie has a Fire Hand.
He's got it.
One trick left.
And now Akridge is probably thinking to himself, what happened? I blew him out with Needle Sealing. Why have I not won yet? The answer is, it's the finals. It really is not that easy.
Yeah.
Fire Hand attacks directly, and that's going to take Akridge down to 2,200.
The first time in this match, McDuffie is leading. Not leading securely in the slightest, but technically leading. And he's playing that Soul Charge really smart by not playing it.
Instead,
that's the right decision.
What appears to be Artifact Sanctum.
Yeah.
Akridge uses Paw Duality. McDuffie is happy to see that the Torrential is going back to the deck.
Back row. Yep. That's got to be McDuffie's first smile in about 8 minutes.
Super important knowledge.
Yeah.
Akridge takes card D, which could be his undoing if he hasn't got something to stop the Moraltalk.
Yep.
And he hasn't got a Wiretap main decked. So it could very well be happening.
Those two cards won't count for much if he can't see his next turn.
McDuffie flips the Sanctum.
Or if he never gets to draw them in the first place, because Moraltalk just takes the card out.
Moraltalk hits the field. Does Akridge have a Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare for it?
He does. Still in it.
I get the feeling that we saw that one a while back. It probably searched off of your Melio. But this is okay, because it's one less card in Akridge's back row, and he has to end his turn.
Yep.
McDuffie was really hoping for a monster there.
McDuffie's in this position now, too, where he could throw down the Soul Charge and push for game here, depending on that back row, if he feels like risking it. But greed is what almost lost him this duel to begin with.
I don't know what you're getting with Soul Charge that'll actually win you the game at this point, though. I think the play is take Akridge down to 600.
Yeah.
And then see if you can get another level 4 for Gaga Cowboy.
It'll be a 2-turn anyways.
And all of a sudden, he lets off the brake. He lets off the accelerator.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He's not.
Kept his hand on it. The judge has ruled that he did not commit to the position change. 1,600 more points. You can really tell.
Next turn, you could cowboy up.
Nope. You can tell that the needle sealing thing is still affecting him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no way that you would switch the Fire Hand to defense position at that point. Akridge down to 600 life points. Need something here right now, even if it is just a bluff. Checks very carefully, trying to figure out what that last back row card is. We know that it is Torrential Tribute, and if Akridge does summon something and has no answer for the tribute and has no follow-up monster, McDuffie could Soul Charge for 2 and get to the Cowboy that way.
Yep. The win scenarios are starting to stack up now for McDuffie. He can attack, he can Soul Charge for Cowboy. And that's bad news for Akridge, who's currently just looking to survive this.
He summons Traptrix Myrmilio.
That's Still not tremendously helpful in any way.
The thing he's got to think about here is, does McDuffie have another ice hand in his deck? Because if he does, getting that bottomless trap hole doesn't amount to a whole lot. Fire hand goes down.
He must know.
Takes Myrmelio
McDuffie doesn't
with it.
have it.
That's probably what they were counting for.
Yeah.
Yes. No ice hand left, much like Akridge had no fire hand.
Now he's got that big back row again.
But
he rips the fire hand.
The third hand.
He's got 2 shots at this,
Yes.
between attacking with a fire hand and soul charging for Cowboy.
Summons the fire hand. Akridge is going to be forced into doing something here.
No response from Akridge.
Yeah, unless he's got the prison.
That's a little... No, I just mean like visually, like facially. But no, then he went straight to an emotional response.
We all know he's got the bottomless.
Yeah. Did he let the summon? No, okay,
You can only let it go if he
had the prison. Yeah, exactly. Now he's going to soul charge. He's going to go for the Cowboy.
He knows the soul charge is there. Soul charge for 2. And he's getting the Myrmelios to figure out what's going on, which might not be the best move if one of those is a morale talk.
Yeah, that would be rough.
He goes for both.
What is Akridge thinking? What is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing?
He's looking at those face-down cards, and it is not the look of someone who's got
Sanctum.
them, but it's a Sanctum. And that is rough.
It's going to keep him in. 800 to 600.
That is rough, but McDuffie is the man with the monster on the field.
Yeah.
Akridge with nothing in hand. Top deck's Mystical Space Typhoon just to see what's there.
Oh!
He did have a card in hand. Unclear as to what happened there. Cyanide for Cowboy for game.
There we go. Thought we were going to see it from McDuffie. Couldn't get it. Brought those Myrmelios right into the Sanctum, and
he didn't have to do it.
Cost himself the Cowboy.
Didn't have to do it.
Wow.
Deon Akridge takes game 1 of the finals.
That was a heck of a game.
Completely blowing out McDuffie in the early game with needle sealing on 4 monsters, and then taking advantage of his aggressive play again at the very end. So, side decking, Maxi taking it out, huh?
Yeah.
Probably going to see debunks on McDuffie's side. Worked pretty well for him last time he ran into this matchup.
Wow, no debunks on Akridge's side. That's interesting.
You know, I wonder.
We'll definitely be bringing in his wiretaps.
You think McDuffie will side in needle sealing? I don't think you do.
I really doubt it. Really doubt it.
But you might be in that mind space where you're like, all right,
I don't think
you can play at this game.
I don't think there's room for revenge.
It's not a good place to be when you're 1 game down.
No.
Mind control, absolutely. Transmigration Prophecy. I think that has a role to play in this one, especially given how much...
Cut off those Trap Tricks Diana plays.
More importantly, cut off those Call of the Haunted plays.
Yeah.
Akridge has been straight up destroying people with.
Meanwhile, Akridge is almost definitely bringing in the Memory of Anniversaries. That play last round with the Trap Tricks Myrmelio theft was ridiculous, and it didn't even technically work out.
I wonder if McDuffie saw that.
Yeah, I wonder if he even knows that memory is something he should be concerned about. He'll bring in the memories. He'll bring in the wiretaps. I don't think he'll bring in the crossouts since he's going second. He'll bring in the one prison.
There's that lava golem. It's still there.
That lava golem is still there. That's a
McDuffie likes
thing.
to play a lot of monsters.
I'm only going to play 2 monsters this game. I'm not going to play a third one. Oh! Why would you do that?
That would just... I hope that doesn't happen. As much as I like Lava Golem, I do not want to see that happen to McDuffie again.
I don't think Lava Golem has a personalized invitation to the finals table this weekend.
Oh, I see it. Akridge is looking at it.
It's
Did
right
he put it
there.
in?
No, he did not put it in.
Oh, he put in whatever was after
He put in like the 2 trap cards after it.
I saw it though.
Yeah.
It's one thing you can
I also
say
saw
for
it.
Lava
And
Golem.
it excited me to no end.
That is one more appearance at the final table of a World Championship qualifier than I think Lava Golem has ever seen.
Yeah.
Golem has ever seen.
Yeah.
Even though he's still on the bench.
You know, just at the... Taking that first duel, just in sum total, it really came down to Akridge's superior ability to respond. That's what it came down to every time. And it's just, if you're a trap lineup, that just seems more useful overall than McDuffie's like increased level of acceleration and card filtering.
It's not going to do him a whole lot of good.
There was that pot of duality at one point. Yeah, there was a pot of duality at one point where McDuffie like revealed an Upstart Goblin, and it's like, well, that's a blank card. Like, you're obviously not picking that.
But we're back underway with McDuffie summoning Murelio for Bottomless Trap Hole.
Looks like he's off to a good start.
And he sets 4.
Looks like a warning. Warning too. All right, this one might go better for him.
It'll be mysterious. I didn't see most of that. Ice Hand up for Akridge. A warning would be very helpful if he had it.
Yeah.
The attack appears to go through successfully. And we'll see if one of those debunks is hiding in McDuffie's back row. Akridge declares his target. That one. And
That's
the
the
wiretap
wiretap
is
gone.
lost. So that means Firehand's coming up next.
Wow. This could be a big early advantage for
That's
Akridge.
Pretty shocking that that's worked.
Yeah.
Against 4 face-down cards. Firehand is next. Trap Tricks as well. 300. Well, actually,
Might as
no
well
damage
crash
there
it,
because they
'cause
crash.
why not? You already got a free card.
I'm still thinking that she's got 1,700. But it is not. Only 16. Four face-down cards. That's how we're used to seeing Akridge's spell and trap cards.
Yeah,
Look.
that is Deon Akridge in his natural habitat.
And there's the
And
memory.
there's the memory.
That'll banish the Ice Hand temporarily.
Not as good as grabbing Murmelio, but definitely solid.
It
Still a plus.
Yeah, it keeps Ice Hand out as well.
Yep.
Once it gets over to Akridge's side of the field.
It's destroyed over there. It's not doing anybody any favors.
Yep, you can't do the old pyramid turtle trick.
No. You do not creature swap Ice Hand like it's a Mystic Tomato. Not how that works.
I'm sure there are a lot of very sad old school players.
Duality revealing MST and 2 Call of the Haunted.
He's got a hand in his graveyard. So he takes one of the calls.
Not necessarily useful yet, but better than a blind MST would be.
And Call of the Haunted really has served him so well throughout this tournament, especially in the last couple of rounds.
That's going to sit around for 5 or 6 turns and then ruin somebody's life.
No monsters, though. Just another face-down card. Likely the Call of the Haunted. McDuffie is up, and he picks up Breakthrough Skill.
Does he have a Traptrix Dianion? Is that what that is?
Looks like it.
Looks like it. Yeah, there we go.
And he summons her. Now, it looked like he was holding back. I think that was an... I'm not entirely certain. He's holding back a spell in his plan. Torrential Tribute is activated.
Was it the target? Or was the target different? Must have been the target.
It's massively, massively unfortunate.
I was fairly lucky.
And at the end of the turn, Akridge gets that Ice Hand.
Now he's got something to poke him with. And off he goes.
Attack goes through. McDuffie goes down to 6,600. Still in the lead, theoretically, but the field tells a different tale.
Akridge sets a 4th card to his spell and trap card zone. It's now 4-on-4 in the back rows.
Duffy picks up a Fire Hand.
Sets it.
Avoiding being bottomless.
Does not look happy.
There's Call of the Haunted. And it looks like he's going to bring back Fire Hand.
It seems ambitious to try for like an Abyss Dweller or something here. Clearly going for an Ixie summon, so he's just attacking. He could wait until the battle phase.
Changes his mind, brings back an Ice Hand.
Do you want that double water attribute Dweller?
Be alright, just gotta remember which one is yours.
Yeah. It's the one in the purple sleeves.
Of course, he could get Lava Val Chain and try to set up some nonsense. He doesn't have Myrmilio.
Doesn't have Myrmilio in the yard, yeah. Oh, I see. That's how they're discerning which Ice Hand is which. They have a system.
Excellent. But the more important thing now is to find out what exactly is going to be Ixie summoned.
And will it stick? Yeah, he's going for that double water Dweller.
And you gotta think Duffy's got something there. But he didn't for the first Ice Hand, so he might not know.
Yeah, there's the Bottomless.
There's Bottomless. He's gonna go ahead and chain Abyss Dweller's ability. Duffy's probably going to be okay with that. Akridge is not one to summon more monsters.
Flipping the breakthrough skill on it.
Just in case. Gets it in the graveyard. And just in case Akridge does have another one.
And Wiretap.
It would get in the graveyard, but Wiretap sends it back to the deck instead. So, no graveyard effect this turn.
And I'm not sure that's worth anything exactly.
What it did do is take multiple cards off of both sides of the field.
Yeah. Simplification that may not work in Akridge's favor at all. I'm surprised he didn't Wiretap the Bottomless.
You'd think that, because there's no Black Horn of Heaven. He passed on the ability to use it already. Fire Hand is up.
Maybe he really did just want that backward simplification, knowing that he has the Fire Hand. But
it's a possibility.
I'd love to ask him about that.
And McDuffie's going to take a look to see how many hands are gone. There's one fire, one ice. The other ice was his.
Fire-hand
attacks. Attacks. Duffy's thinking about something. He goes. Now Moraltok is his only choice here. And he summons it in defense position.
Loses it to Nightmare.
Activates his ability, but loses it to Trap Tricks Trapple Nightmare. In the end, though, that may work out a bit in his favor because he did not set off his opponent's fire hand. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to set off his own fire hand because of the Abyss Dweller.
Yeah. So that worked out pretty well for Akridge.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was pretty valuable. McDuffie starts off his turn with Fire Hand, Ice Hand, Trap Tricks Diania going back to the deck. Not a bad draw here. Draws 2 and gives his graveyard another check, and it seems like he's picked up a Sanctum. Pot of Duality is next, revealing Pot of Duality, Soul Charge, and Debunk.
Always nice to stack Duality and Dichotomy.
B, pretty useful.
Yeah. Granted, so could Soul Charge.
No, gotta keep in mind, he cannot special summon this turn.
Oh yeah, no.
Akridge would get free reign for a turn to get him down as low as possible.
Not this turn, obviously, but I don't see Akridge rushing him for a ton of damage next turn.
He doesn't have enough cards to do it. Still, every point hurts. If he could get him down to 35, 30-something?
Yeah, then that Soul Charge starts looking pretty costly. Taking the Soul Charge. Maybe. He's thinking.
Looking to see what he's got. He's got Aurelio and Moraltok. And he's got a Sanctum in his hand. So the plan is probably to Sanctum in the opponent's turn and then Soul Charge in his own.
Pleiades up.
Pleiades up. And he's got what appears to be another Ice Hand as well.
He's got a Defender, so
this could work. As long as there aren't another 4 million back row cards on Akridge's side of the field, which is always what seems to happen.
It's a 2-turn long con. Akridge has 2 turns to find another clown car full of trap cards, yes.
Be interesting to see if Akridge decides to go on the offensive here.
Losing another back row to that Ice Hand would hurt.
It would. And he'd also be in a position where, there could be a crash before the Pleiades.
He's playing the MST. He's not.
Space Typhoon, and it seems like he targeted the Sanctum.
That would be bad. I'm pretty sure that is what happens.
Sanctum. The blind MST on Artifact Sanctum. Yes. We told you about blind MST on Artifact Sanctum.
Really just like the #1 play people have not wanted to make since that card was released.
We told you. We did it on the strategy site. They've done it on all the fan sites, all the other sites, and it's happened in the finals of the WCQ.
Korey McDuffie had his moment of greed last game, and maybe this was Akridge's. That's gonna hurt.
He's still got the Fire Hand, though, so he's at least gonna get something out of this. Specifically, he's going to get an Ice Hand out of it, and probably a no longer on the field Moraltok. And it appears Akridge is questioning right now whether or not the Artifact Sanctum is destroyed by Mystical Space Typhoon, or rather it's destroyed by game mechanics. And the answer is it's destroyed by Mystical Space Typhoon before it is destroyed by game mechanics and sent to the graveyard. So, what he can do here, well, he'd have to give up the Morale Talk. He could activate the Morale Talk and chain the Sanctum to it, because it'll all activate in a new chain. So what he's trying to do here is organize the chain so that the Fire Hand is destroyed as Chain Link 2.
Yeah, so that it's not the last thing to happen and its effect doesn't resolve. Wow.
I'm not exactly certain
Akridge,
what the end result was there.
We can tell what the result was based on McDuffie's face. That is the first smile we've seen in a bit from him.
Akridge sees.
Deon Akridge concedes after taking that massive, massive minus.
That's what happens when you use Mystical Space Typhoon on a face-style Artifact Sanctum.
That was rough, too, because he did not necessarily have to use that MST, at least based on the information we have. Maybe he knows something we don't, but...
That's two games that are really defined by getting a little bit too greedy with the destruction effects and then paying for it big time.
People want that title.
And it's going to take the full 3 games to find out who's going to get it.
Yep.
So this time around, Deon Akridge going first. More traps. More
Extra card to start. More traps. Liking his chances. McDuffie's penchant for aggression might be his only way to take that on. But certainly has higher spirits. He looked very happy about how that went. Akridge laughing it off too.
It's good to keep a smile on your face.
Yeah, both these guys seem really good at just managing their emotional reactions and managing their stress levels here.
One of the good things about getting this late in the tournament, though, is that you're already going to the World Championship.
Yeah.
I'm kind of relaxed. The rest is gravy, really.
You can't really dislike the guy sitting across from you who's going to be your teammate in like 12 minutes, basically.
They're probably talking right now about what they want to play at the World Championship.
Yeah.
Not that they know yet what they are allowed to play at the World Championship. They'll find out all about that tomorrow, and it's really quite interesting. The rest of the world will have to wait to see what challenges the World Championship competitors have to face this year.
Really? So the qualified players are going to know that before the dueling public?
Correct.
Interesting.
The qualified players will all be notified first, since they are the ones that have to come up with new decks to deal with the World Championship. Deon Akridge, it looked like he slipped a Noble Enough Crossout into his deck at the last second there. Useful for if McDuffie is on the defensive early.
That would be a pretty awesome early game play. Can't Nobleman a Crossout an Artifact Sanctum.
You cannot. Fire Hand and Ice Hand, though, fair game, and they've figured greatly into both of the duels so far.
Yeah.
And he knows that. Thus, Nobleman of Crossout. Looked like only one copy, though. You don't want to get stuck with too many of them.
No.
Because if one of those hand effects goes off, all the rest are face up.
Yep. That's a bit of a risk, though, because you do want to see it as early as possible. I feel like the further into the mid-game you get, the fewer face-up monsters we see, for that exact reason you mentioned.
It seems like he's basically McDuffie's deck has a better chance of getting away with going lighter on sided cards, say only one crossout, because he's got all the extra draw acceleration.
Yeah, he's going to see his best cards a little more frequently anyways. He's just not going to see them in the sheer volume of pink that Akridge can rely on.
And we are underway.
Here we go.
In the last duel. of this year's North American World Championship qualifier.
Emilio for McDuffie.
Akridge starts out with Pot of Duality for Fire Hand, Ice Hand, and Fiendish Chain.
All cards you'd rather have without your opponent really knowing you have them.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
It does set you up to do something fancy, like with that Murmelio breakthrough skill play we saw earlier.
Yeah, it was nice.
It looked like he took the Ice Hand. Did he take the Ice Hand? Or selection was made slightly off camera.
Yes.
But he didn't take the Fire Hand, I can tell you that much.
Pretty sure it was the Ice Hand, but yeah.
4 face down cards. And that's it for Akridge.
For face down cards, the back row, Akridge's signature move at this point.
McDuffie looking at an Ice Hand, Traptrix Murmelio, Dark Hole. Looks like Artifact Sanctum.
Ice Hand, Murmelio.
Solemn Warning.
Sanctum, Warning. That seems strong.
That is not a bad hand.
Not at all.
For the final game of the weekend. Sets a monster, 3 face down Speller Traps. Not ready to risk that Murmelio to a Fiendish Chain quite yet.
We can see now that Akridge did definitely take the Ice Hand, and he also has a Dark Hole.
And he plays
he's using right now.
But that's going to set off McDuffie's Ice Hand.
Unless McDuffie hits an Artifact Sanctum here, that was a good exchange for Duffy.
Mystical Space Typhoon is then chained to his own card.
Keep him from getting the Fire Hand.
Ice Hand from getting the Fire Hand out. Took a second there to see
that
what's
is
happening.
A big sacrificial bunt of a play.
That is an old school tactic, though. That harkens back to Heavy Storm versus Starlight Road.
Starlight Road, exactly. Clears the way for Akridge to make an attack.
Drops his own Ice Hand. Al McDuffie
can outplay a possible Sanctum because
there's a Solemn. He could use it to keep that hand completely off the board.
Yeah.
He's really struggling with this play.
I think he recognizes this is a fairly obvious turning point. Whether or not he lets that stay on the table.
If he lets it stay on the table, he's going to have to Solemn it anyways. He'll just be down 1,400 more points.
Yeah. I mean, you never want to use that card that early, but it totally seems to make sense here.
I think he's thinking about maybe using Dark Hole on it, but I wouldn't do that.
He just saw how well that worked out, so...
He's going to go ahead and activate Sanctum.
Just a brick wall it? Not destroy it, or what?
There's a chance he's trying to find out what Akridge has down. Maybe draw out one of the trap holes.
Yeah, maybe just try to suck out a Nightmare.
And...
doesn't do him any favors for his in-hand Dark Hole.
He does
say that much.
Activate the effect.
Yeah. Just gonna wall it.
Just big enough. Oh no, he did activate the effect.
Huh, okay.
He just made no indication that he did. And then he goes ahead and solves the Ice Hand anyways.
It's a little strange.
I'm not exactly sure what the game plan here was. It must have been to try to draw out the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. That's the only thing I can think of that fits that particular play plan.
Yeah. Draws his own Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Has Murmelio in hand, so he can go get another one if he really wants it.
Here's the thing, though. People have been burned so many times by the mass removal traps.
Yep. Just swing for 21.
And I think he's going to try to swing for 21 first.
Again, he's here with like live cards that could be doing work. He's facing down this massive back row.
It's awfully frustrating. I think this is one reason why Dragon Ruler players don't mind this matchup so much. Because they feel that my monster's going to keep coming back, so I'm going to keep flinging them at all your back row cards.
Throw dragons at your back row. So, set the Nightmare, considered it, took it back. Now he's poking for the 21.
Going for the 21. Right call there.
Yeah, I think so.
Akridge has his own artifact
sanctum.
McDuffie wishes he had that Trapple Nightmare down a turn sooner. Fortunately, he drew it this turn. He's got a regular bottomless trap.
Bottomless.
And in this way, the field's clear of monsters. Again, a common sight in these last 3 rounds.
Yeah.
No normal summon yet.
There we go.
And he makes it with the Trap Tricks.
Now he can put up a pretty good back row.
Trapple Nightmare. I guess it would be ×2.
Because he's played the bottomless, so...
Unless he's brought in a deep dark trap hole and he wants it here, or an acid trap hole and he wants it here?
I don't think so, because he's seen no soul charge from Akridge since Akridge doesn't play it.
He makes no search, in fact.
He made no search, period.
Trap Tricks Trap Hole Nightmare he has. He's probably sided the other one
Yeah, he must have. Akridge has his own. Is he going to get a search? He's going to get his search. Literally just 1 card ahead of McDuffie on a perpetual basis here.
You're really rough not getting your search after the Miralia, though.
That's a beat.
Picked up Pot of Duality. Could be interesting. Sees Trap Tricks Diana, Ice Hand, and Torrential Tribute.
Diana is pretty good.
And he has a ripe opportunity.
Just to slam and then main phase 2, bring it back and pop a back row card and just start limiting that back row and getting stuff under control again.
Yep, and he'd probably take out 2 with it.
Well,
because he'd have to get the bottomless.
Wouldn't happen main phase 2 here, of course. Let me correct myself, because that's the Pot of Duality.
But it represents a first step in getting somewhere on those 8,000 life points.
Yeah.
That giant wall of cards.
It's progress across 2 different fields.
He does not go for the crash, though, leaving it to Akridge to make the first move in this case. Which has not exactly been something he's been prone to doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that
time he did, it didn't work out.
A reactive playstyle has worked pretty well for Akridge so far. Yeah, that's what he wanted to see.
Ice Hand.
Ice Hand, just pick that off and then trade and just grab a free card again.
That is rough.
Yep.
McDuffie regretting not trying to trade the Trap Tricks right away. Loses his Trap Tricks Trap Hole Nightmare. And Fire Hand's up next.
That was so ideal. It's going to be another 1,600.
The question here is, which monster do you trade? Probably the Myrmilio.
Pretty sure the Myrmilio, yeah.
But he's picking up that
Fire Hand. Literally considering throwing down the Gauntlet. No. I'm sure he'll attack with Myrmilio.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He's summoning the Fire Hand in.
Also acceptable. I don't see why he put it in defense. Just swing with the Merm and just keep dealing some damage.
Not sure what's going on, but they're being given free reign to do whatever. Does not crash with Myrmilios. Dark Hole comes down next. Blasts away everything.
McDuffie will play that Dianaya and pick off a back row card if it works.
Akridge still looks like he's thinking about whether or not the dark hole is going to go through. Is he considering compulsory evacuation device? Save one of his own monsters?
Yeah, it could compulse the Dianaya. Sorry, the Myrmelio. Be acceptable.
It's pretty much the only thing I think he's got in to help. Yep, there we
go.
And
really?
The
On
fire hand. Fire hand.
I guess that's going to keep McDuffie off of certain Ixie summons at least. I mean, he could go into the arc.
He could do the arc.
Yeah, which this is a move we've seen several times in both of these gentlemen's feature matches.
And that bottomless trap hole is not useful in this case because it's two traps.
They're all trap tricks.
And he goes for the chain.
He's stacking the Dianaya play. Probably.
Question is,
certainly doesn't have a call to set up
attack
the
position or defense position. Looks like he's leaving it in attack position.
He'll put it in attack for sure.
With a fire hand on Akridge's side.
I don't think he cares. He's dictating the pace of play here. He's dictating the direction of aggression.
Dianaya goes up top. And he sets another card. That looked like a very bright trap card, possibly
looked like
debunk.
Looked like either a debunk or a sanctum.
Set one card face down.
Monster.
Takes
losing
Dianaya
that back row
right back.
again. Wow.
And he gets Moraltalk this time.
Oh, the debunk!
Moraltalk is negated and banished.
Wow.
And he knows what that last one is. That's Fire Hand.
Yep. That means a Piss Dweller's coming out. There it is. It's right up top. The one you want is on the top. There it is. You keep your thumbs right on it.
It's right there.
There you go.
McDuffie can't believe his good
Wow.
fortune. He's like, am I really allowed to summon a Piss Dweller here? That's a total house.
All of his cards were required for that play, and wow, it's not over yet, but man, he's gonna... Does he have a third Dianaya?
He does.
He only has
not.
two.
He's only got two.
See what he's doing next.
He's probably going to stack up a hand, though,
Yeah,
or
probably.
Myrmelio.
Yep.
Though with the Myrmelio, he's got nothing left to search, so it's got to be the hand.
The fire hand is the obvious.
What another
Akridge off his
turnaround.
head. How big is Akridge's hand, though? Does he have like another 4 trap cards in there? Like every other time this has happened?
Probably.
Wow. That was a heck of a turn of events.
Comeback.
Wow.
And Akridge cannot believe what he's seeing. Got to go first in the deciding game. Seemed to take a lot of early advantage. And now, Bane and Abyss Dweller have turned things completely around for McDuffie. Being able to get past that bottomless trap hole, because he's playing with a pair of Trap Tricks monsters.
The immunity of the Trap Tricks monsters was clutch.
Massive. Myrmelio is up for Akridge. He's got a Trap Tricks trap hole nightmare. And another pair of trap cards.
That is not very good.
It's not 4, but it is some traps.
One of which is irrelevant. We know that much. There's one relevant card back there that might somehow turn this around. Especially if McDuffie gets super greedy and falls into a torrential needle ceiling type position again.
We could see,
but I don't think that's a mistake he's going to make again.
We could see Dimensional Prison.
Adversary would be pretty stellar.
And he's looking to see what's in there.
Yeah.
Kind of hoping to find that card already in the graveyard, but no luck, Mr. McDuffie. It has not been played yet, this duel.
Whoever wins this one definitely earned it.
Volatile Chain.
Holding it.
Thinking about just swinging.
Yep, the attack made. And Murmillo goes down.
200 over Murmillo, with another 1,700 to come from Abyss Dweller. But between the two, I'm pretty sure that's the one that you would use the Dimensional Prisoner Memory of an Adversary on.
Yeah.
So not a guaranteed 1,700. But
he does play a
Akridge
third
does
monster.
take it. Third monster comes
Draw
in.
phase kicks off the Abyss Dweller's effect.
And that's it.
We have a new North American champion. Korey McDuffie is the winner of this weekend's tournament.
Korey McDuffie comes back from a double disastrous first duel.
That was
two in a row.
That was incredible.
That was one heck of a match, I gotta say. Korey McDuffie.
McDuffie, a mix of happiness and just utter relief.
I don't think he hasn't sunk in.
And a little neck rub for his new teammate.
And Akridge is still trying to figure out what could I have done to win that game. And McDuffie's like, I'm done. I'm ready for the world. Let's not think about this anymore.
He is ready to
play Goyo Guardian for 3 weeks at locals, and then I'm going to go to the World Championship. That is one.
He cannot believe that just happened. Every single card. Took every single card he had, and he pulled it off.
That is absolute joy.
That was a pretty awesome match.
And it's great to see people having such a great time, even in such a high-pressure situation.
Yeah.
And I believe we are going to have a final presentation ceremony yet.
Yep.
Award ceremony coming up next, but that's going to do it for